Have you ever finished a race, looked at the clock, and immediately decided the whole day was a failure? Even though you trained for months, even though you handled problems well, even though you did something really hard. That happens when we give ourselves only one definition of success. Welcome to Coach Erin Says podcast, the triathlon podcast for busy athletes who want to train smarter, race stronger, and enjoy the journey. I'm Coach Erin Burge from Goals Multisport Coaching. Today's episode comes from one of my athletes, Keith, who asked, "What's your secret sauce that no one knows about?" I'm not sure if nobody knows about it, but when I thought about this, the answer was clear to me. My secret sauce is not one workout, one pacing trick, or one nutritional strategy. It is the 3 goal system. Today, I'm going to show you how to create goals that keep you ambitious, help you make better race day decisions, and give you more opportunities to feel proud of how you train and how you race. When I first started triathlon in 2012, I signed up for a ton of races, and every race I could go for a PR. That was basically my goal, every PR. When you're new to the sport and you are doing nothing beforehand, improvement is easier to come by and PRs are easier to get. At some point, however, I hit the plateau. I was no longer getting those easy gains, and courses change and all of that good stuff. So hitting a PR every single race stopped being easy to do, and I started getting frustrated and thought maybe this sport wasn't for me anymore. Luckily, I had a fellow teacher and a fellow athlete that introduced me to this idea of 3 goals. The original version of the goals were a Rockstar goal, which could still be your PR, a super happy goal, which is a little bit of a stretch goal, and then the better do goal. The better do goal was the goal that you wanted to hit to make it worth getting out of bed, worth paying the registration fee, going super early in the morning, and putting yourself through the paces. That better do goal has changed into what I call the happy goal, and that's usually a little bit more process oriented these days. That change is what turned this from a simple race goal system into the foundation of how I coach, how I race, and even how I've built 2 successful businesses. Now, goals are not new to triathletes. Triathletes tend to be type A personalities who are always chasing a goal. Some are, you might say, a little bit all or nothing, including me. I was definitely, and still can be, a bit of an all or nothing kind of girl. So type A athletes often think that if you hit your goal, it's a success. If you miss the goal, it's a failure. Unfortunately, in a sport like triathlon, there are so many things that can influence the amount of time it takes to get to the finish line, things that we don't have any control over. The weather, the course conditions, even the length of the course. I mean, how often do they get to swim? Exactly right. The equipment can go wrong, you can get sick, you can have issues with your nutrition that day, what other athletes show up that day, and how your body responds. These are all things that you cannot fully control on race day and therefore can have an impact on that final finish time. So, if a PR is the definition of success, so many things can make that not a successful day. So one finish time goal turns race day into a pass or fail test. And that's not at all, as age group athletes, how we should be enjoying this hobby and sport that we spend so much time working at. This does not mean we stop setting ambitious goals. It just means we stop allowing one number to determine whether the entire day was a success or not. So let's talk a little bit about the 3 goals. The first goal that I set is the Rockstar goal. This is going to be the goal that most type A triathletes are familiar with, whether it's landing on a podium, setting a PR, qualifying for nationals or worlds, having a major breakthrough in either one of the 3 disciplines or the entire race. Rockstar goals should not be a fantasy. If you are somebody that typically takes 6 hours to do a half Ironman, your Rockstar goal shouldn't be 4 hours. But if you're typically somebody that does 6 hours and you want to set a goal of 5:55, this makes a lot more sense. It should be supported by your training, your prior performances, course conditions, and your current fitness. Next up is the super happy goal. I like the super happy goal to be close to my Rockstar goal. This is the goal that keeps me pushing when I've looked down at my watch and have realized that the Rockstar goal isn't going to happen this time. It should make you feel super happy, and it should be a stretch. It doesn't require 100% perfect conditions, but it does require a good day. It should not be something that you would secretly dismiss, but something that you would work towards when you see that Rockstar goal fade. And then the last goal is a happy goal. And when I say happy, I mean truly, you need to pick a goal that will make you happy at the end of the day. I like these to be something that you have control over. Fueling appropriately, walking only the aid stations, sticking within a specific pacing plan, high-fiving your teammates, thanking volunteers, soaking up the community and the vibes. Sometimes and often, crossing the finish line with a smile is my happy goal. The happy goal is not a low goal. It is more of a personal goal. It is a process-oriented goal that will make you feel happy at the end of the day, even if your time goals were not realized. It's very important that you don't treat the 3-goal system as one realistic goal, one dream goal, and one consolation prize. You should arrive at the start line with confidence that all 3 goals are still possible. The difference in how much needs to go right is a little bit different. When I'm helping my athletes set up their 3 goals, we look at some data like their RaceX predictions. I coach with TriDot, and all TriDot athletes have access to RaceX. And RaceX gives predictions for swim, bike, and run based on the race course, the location, the time of year, all of that good stuff. So we'll use that data as a starting point of how fast we think that a race will go for that athlete. We'll look at past race performances if this is not a brand new athlete. We will consider the course, the weather conditions, if there are qualification standards, and that happens to be a goal. We will take the time to talk about these goals about a month out, but also again during race week. The biggest thing I want for my athletes to understand is that when we are setting these goals, we are setting these as possibilities. And I want them to feel that they can do it. Confidence says, I believe I can do this. The difference is if we have expectations, expectations will say, if I don't do this, then the day is a failure. Now, don't get me wrong. I have had athletes push back and not be excited about setting 3 goals. I've even had people say, doesn't having a happy goal give me permission to settle? And the answer to that is simple. No, a good happy goal will support those time goals. For example, if we set a happy goal to fuel the entire race, well, of course, if you fuel the entire race well, then you're supporting the ability to hit your Rockstar and your super happy goals. If you set a happy goal to pace as your coach has lined up, then you are protecting your times and reaching towards the Rockstar and the super happy goal. If you are staying mentally engaged to solve problems, you're more likely to hit time goals. If you are walking only the aid stations, and if you're staying present, even when you have one bad split, you don't let that hijack the race. All of these things are going to help support your time goals as well. So a happy goal will support the time goals. It is not settling. It is not a consolation prize. I firmly believe that adults do not get enough opportunities to feel proud of themselves. So setting this process-oriented goal puts them in control. It puts them in control of executing this goal and gives them something to feel proud of. It becomes, I said I would do this and I did, and that's something to be proud of. So what I learned way back in 2012 when I started using the 3-goal system, and what my athletes have learned using the system now, is that it takes a lot of the mental games away during the race. The goals are not just used after the race to see if you met your goals. They are guides to help you make decisions throughout the race. We can all look down at our watches and say, oh, that Rockstar goal is no longer happening. It's getting away from us. So when that happens, we don't decide that the day is ruined. We just shift. We look down and say, oh, I'm not going to be under 13 hours for this Ironman, but I have a super happy goal of 13 and a half hours. So we shift to that goal and we work on making decisions to help us protect that goal. If the super happy goal starts to slip away, then we have this happy goal that we can now shift our focus towards. Well, I'm not going to hit that 13 and a half hours, but my happy goal is to cross that finish line with a smile. So I'm going to protect the rest of my race so that I can be smiling when I cross the finish line. Adjusting the goal along the way is not giving up, and it's not a consolation prize. You made the decision before the race that these were the things that were going to make you feel happy, make you feel super happy, or make you feel like a rock star. And you can use those three things to help you make decisions along the way. It's great to feel like a rock star sometimes, but being happy is good too. That's why we set it up that way. This year, I actually was able to live the three goals during a race, not only for my own race, but also for my athlete, Miguel. He and I got in the water together at IRONMAN Texas, and very early on, he had an incident in the water where another athlete got a little panicked and maybe pulled him down a little bit. And he had to stop and kind of regroup. And it definitely played some mental games with him early on in this very long day. It could have completely railed his day, but thankfully he had these three goals that he had set and he used them to help him keep moving forward. In the end, he protected his super happy goal and was able to hit his super happy goal at his very first Ironman distance race. That same race, I had a bike wreck at about 60 miles on the bike. And I had some big goals. That's where that sub 13 Ironman reference came to earlier. And once I had that bike crash, I knew I was no longer going to hit my Rockstar goal. But I could protect first for the super happy goal and then ultimately for the happy goal. So I got back on my bike. I was able to finish the race with a smile. And even though I was in some pain because of the bike wreck, I knew that that was my happy goal. So when you go look at my finish line pictures from Texas, you'll see lots of tears, lots of anguish from pain, but I did manage to smile and I did manage to have a day that I can be proud of because I stuck to that goal, the one that I had the most control over. On that note, I would like to point out that continuing after a crash is not always appropriate. So make sure your bike's working well and your body is not too injured. Safety comes first. But in my situation, I was able to continue safely and finish with a smile at the end. One of the things that you can do as an age group athlete is use the three goal system in your training, not just your racing. We are not professional athletes. We are not robots. So some workouts are rock star. Everything clicks. If you use TriDot, then you'll know what I mean when I say we got a train X of 90 plus. You can feel like a rock star when you do that. Numbers are strong, the workouts are exceptional, rock star kind of day. That happens sometimes. Most workouts are probably in the super happy range. We do our best. We completed the work with the intention of the workout in mind. It was solid, but not perfect. And then there are some workouts that we can label that we are happy about. We started when we didn't want to. We adapted when we needed to. We completed a warm up. We did what we could on that day. Those are all workouts that some people will write off as failures because they didn't go as well as they should have. But when we use this three goal system to think about our workouts and we're super happy most of the time, but happy happens and rockstar happens too, then we can make progress by accumulating consistency at all three levels, not waiting for perfect rockstar days. The three goal system also works in training for a specific workout, not just your overall training program. Things like assessments or your super long runs and bricks. Sometimes those workouts can feel overwhelming. So, when that's the case, set yourself happy, super happy, and rockstar goals for that workout. I had a 5K assessment today. I set all three goals for myself today, and I'm happy to report I got my super happy goal. Wasn't a PR, but it was a bit of an improvement from my last assessment. So, setting three goals for races, for your overall training plan, and then also for those individual workouts can help you get out of this all or nothing mentality where we feel like we need to be perfect every time we put on our run shoes, bike shoes, or swim cap. So let's talk about how you can start setting your own goals. First of all, I did create a worksheet. It's actually 4 pages. You can fill it out. I'm pretty excited about it. So you can grab that from my website at 3goalsmultisport.com/3goals worksheet. And that's the number 3. So 3 goals worksheet. And it'll walk you through this whole process. So you'll start by asking, why does this race matter to me? Is it a first finish, a PR, qualification, confidence, experience, doing it with a friend, preparation for another race, all those kind of things. The second question is, what does the evidence say? What is my current fitness, my recent training, my previous results? What does the course look like? Is it flat? Is it hilly? What are the weather conditions supposed to be? And what are my strengths? What are my limiters? Then, after thinking through all of that, you finally write that first goal. You write the Rockstar goal. What exceptional but realistic outcome are you prepared to chase? Then the super happy goal. What strong result would still make you genuinely proud and super happy? Then write the happy goal. This is an important one to really think through. You need to actually feel like you will be happy if you hit this process or action or experience that you can control that will still make the day feel meaningful. This will often come back to that very first question of, why does this race matter to me? Then think through the shift plan. How will you recognize the rockstar goal is slipping away? What will you do to protect the super happy goal if rockstar does start to slip away? And then how can you still control the happy goal when the other two have slipped away? Before finalizing your goals, ask yourself, do all three of these goals feel genuinely possible? Is the super happy goal still a stretch? And is the happy goal something I truly care about, something that will actually make me feel happy? Does my happy goal support good execution so that it helps me reach the other two goals? And can I remember all three of these goals without a super fancy spreadsheet to keep track of them? They should be simple so that you can remember them on race day. Finally, will these goals help me make decisions as the day changes? The goals themselves should create clarity and motivation, not clutter in your already busy brains. So, just to recap, the 3 goal systems gives you ambition when you use the Rockstar goal, a strong alternative to chase through the super happy goal, a meaningful process goal that will help keep you happy with the day, a plan for adjusting when the race changes, and more opportunities to feel proud of yourselves, which I still believe adults don't do enough. As I said, I created a free fillable 3 goals race planning worksheet to help you write all 3 goals, build your shift plan, and even to reflect after the race. You can get that through the link in the show notes. And I hope that you'll share them with us in the 3G Multisport Community Facebook page so that we can all cheer for you when it's time for you to reach for your 3 goals. Chase the Rockstar goal with confidence, protect the super happy goal when the day changes, and never underestimate the value of finishing happy having reached your happy goal.